Welcome back to Straight Facts. I'm joined by Big Steve. Lots to delve into and get opinions on today with Declan Rice and his deal with Arsenal about to complete. A total agreement between the player and Arsenal now in place, with City pulling out. We're also talking City, who are now looking at another player in Veiga, a big Chelsea target this summer. They're entering the race for him. Liverpool in pursuit of the RB Leipzig midfielder. And an update on Mason Mount, Maddison, and a few others. Any questions for Steve? Feel free to send them in. But before we do any of that, everyone please wish Big Steve a big happy birthday. It's his birthday today, and he's on the show with us live, ever being a professional. So first of all, happy birthday from me and the Terrace and everyone involved, mate. And I hope you're having a great day.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I've had a good day. Supposed to have a day off today. Obviously, I was going to do this, but I was supposed to have a day off and didn't happen. Just end up in work again. So it is what it is.
It always happens. It always happens in the end, mate. Like, can't remember the last time I had my birthday off work. And my birthday's a week before Christmas as well. So that's always mad with Christmas stuff. So yeah, it's crazy, mate. But lots to talk about today. And I wanted to start off a little bit with, I wanted to get your opinion. We all saw the situation that's arose between Man United and Mason Mount and Chelsea. The reports are that United and Chelsea are gearing up for another meeting to settle the Mount transfer saga. Man United still refusing to pay above 60 million. What's your thoughts on that deal? Is this Man United having no money, being cheap? Is this Chelsea demanding too much? Or are we just seeing negotiations kind of play themselves out naturally in public?
I just think they're playing themselves out naturally. I just think it's early doors. Everyone's panicking already about the transfers and worrying about who's buying who. But it's quite early on in the window, to be fair. A lot of players are still on holiday. There's a lot of players will just decide, look, I'm going away for a couple of weeks. Let me know when I get back. You know what I mean? And that's what usually happens. If you look at it, that's what usually happens. So, I mean, I've seen stories today saying that Man United, under the financial fair play, have only got 100 million to spend and they need to sell and stuff like that. So you don't know how true that is. Obviously, they're in the middle of a takeover. So, that's not ideal. That's not ideal at all. Because if I was buying a club, I don't know. Would you have a bit of a say? Would you be contacting Ten Hag and saying, look, we'll have this done in a few weeks, hold on, don't do this, your budget might increase, we can sort something out. You just don't know. But the Mason Mount deal's been dragging on for a while, considering that, everybody knows he wants to leave Chelsea. I can't see why United haven't got it done, but it's just a strange deal for me. I don't know. Ten Hag must see something in him. You got to trust your manager. He must see where he fits in the system and that. And does he take Man United up a level? Not sure, but I don't know. It's a bit of a weird signing. I don't know. Like I say, I don't want to comment on it too much.
Mate, I'm with you on the second part 100%. It was strange. It was left field for me. I didn't expect it. In terms of the panicking, though, I couldn't agree with you more. Arsenal were actually having a good window, in my opinion, in terms of their manager getting his target. So again, Kai Havertz is a bit like the Mason Mount deal. It's a bit strange, but Declan Rice looks like it's happening. Timber. But it was only a week ago their fans were fuming that we were a week into the transfer window and hadn't done anything yet. Why do you think fan bases, and Man United fans are definitely doing, why do you think there's so much panic and no patience in terms of getting these deals done?
Fans are like that these days. Modern football fans, it's all about getting things done. And if they don't get this over the line, he's a fraud, and sack the board, the manager, and all that. It's like the Declan Rice deal. We spoke about it last week, and the Arsenal fans were literally saying, if we don't sign Declan Rice, get rid of Edu, Arteta, get him out. He should have done this. He should have done that. The City angle is we're quite relaxed with the way we deal with transfers with City. We just sort of, we leave it to Pep and Tixie Biggerstein. If we get the deal over the line, we get the deal over the line. I remember apparently when City was going for Maguire and United fans were all celebrating that they got one over Man City and we got Maguire. Then they said, we got Fred. You wanted Fred. We've got Fred. Alexis Sanchez. We beat you to Alexis Sanchez. Literally none of them players have turned out any good for going anywhere else. I think the Arsenal signing of Rice is good. I think he does take them to the next level. I think he's what they needed. And I don't think they could have let him go. I don't think they can. And what I think City's done is they've just put in the maximum they were willing to go to. Arsenal have gone higher, and they've got the player. City over the years have walked away from deals where some of the fans have been like, "Why don't we just pay that extra money?" But they don't do that. They don't do that. If they don't find its value, they don't pay it, and it's simple as that.
I look at it, what you said there about the panicking. I understand Man United fans being frustrated that the takeover hasn't happened yet. It's another Glazer issue. There's 2 days running, the finances have come out and there's been different takes. Yesterday, it was a case of, well, there is money. So the media have kind of bullshitted. Today, there's theories that the money would have to come from a credit fund, but the credit fund could end up coming out of the Glazers' back pocket if they sell. Therefore, they're not sanctioning it right now. So I get frustration surrounding that because it's actually quite complicated. But at the same time, Man United fans online are a weird bunch. They're genuinely, in my opinion, a weird bunch because they've been screaming for David De Gea to not get a new deal. We need a better goalie. The club offered him a new deal 2 months ago and they were fuming about it. They then learned that we've pulled that new deal away. And now they're angry that we're putting deals away from people because it's unprofessional. Sometimes I do think, mate, honestly, and I'm sure, I don't think City have this issue at all because you're winning. But I'm sure Liverpool fans have got a section. Arsenal definitely do. Chelsea fans. We will have a section of our fan base who I just think enjoy being negative, being angry, being frustrated, and always looking for the downside in every situation. And I think for Man United fans, I get they're not happy about Mount. I get they want deals done quickly. But we're still very early on in the window. We're being told by any player we've looked at so far, the price has gone up. Look at the Højlund situation. They were quoting 30 million. Man United make an inquiry. They go 80. So we can't just, this is what I would say to Man United fans, learn to grow a backbone, learn to develop some patience. We can't just roll over and go, yes, sir, no, sir, free bags full and pay them. That's how you end up in Sanchez scenarios, Maguire scenarios, Fred scenarios, where you're buying substandard players over their value. If we brought those players in for the right price and right salary, or who actually wanted to be at our club, it wouldn't have looked like a bad deal. If Fred cost Man United £20 million 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it wouldn't have been a bad deal. But when you, at the time, were spending 50 to 60, which at that period in transfers was what you spent on the upper end, top quality midfielders, the expectation's higher. So I do implore Man United fans just to stay calm as best they can and challenge the real issues, which is the sale not going through, not the club not bending over and just paying £80 million for a £30 million player. I don't understand. I know this nonsense of it's not my money though. Yeah, but if we spend 80 on a £30 million player, that's £50 million wasted to not invest elsewhere. So yeah, patience is. I think patience is gone with the younger generation. And I know we sound like two old men moaning about young people, but I don't know. Just how I see it, mate. It's a crazy.
Gets boring for me. It gets boring. Like I've seen people celebrate a signing more than a trophy. Like some guy messaged me and went, we signed Declan Rice and you wanted him. And I went, well, mate, come on. It's clearly said that Man City have pulled out. They're not going to go to that deal. Yeah, but we've got Declan Rice and you haven't. I said, mate, we just won the European Cup and the treble. Yeah, but we've got Declan Rice. And I'm like, oh, mate, come on, man. You're in the wrong person's DMs here. Go to a Tottenham fan. Tell him you've got Declan Rice because he gives a shit. It is what it is. Man City, if they don't want to pay him the price, then they don't pay the price. And then Arsenal want him and they want to get him. That's great. But Man City will do great business. We'll just be ticking over. We'll decide what we want to do. And that's just the way Pep works. And if he thinks he's worth it, he'll get him. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But it's mad how people get gassed about it all. We heard it all last season. You sold Zinchenko. You sold Gabriel Jesus. I bet you're gutted now, aren't you? I bet you're gutted. Pep's give him away. Who's gutted at the end of the season? Not fucking me, Terry. Let me tell you that. Not me in Istanbul in Navidad Street with the treble with all the blues while they're sat at home crying about the fucking bottle job merchant that they did. Do you know what I mean? So you need to calm down because we've seen it all before last season about Zinchenko, Jesus, Odegaard, what we're going to do, how many points clear. And in the end, they fell flat on their ass. So I'd just pipe down, get your business done, and let's get the season started and see where we go, innit?
In terms of City, it's now been reported that Man City are entering the race for this Spanish talent, Veiga, after Declan Rice has picked Arsenal or will go to Arsenal. Liverpool and Chelsea remain interested, but City, Fabrizio is now saying that you guys want to be informed. Highly rated talent. A lot of people rate this guy. And is that what you expect from your team? You miss out on a target for one reason or another, and you go again, you find somebody else, you keep moving forward and winning. But what's your thoughts on the prospect of signing this kid?
Like I say, it's a bit of you see, the Declan Rice one was a bit weird because we've got Rodri, and he ain't better than Rodri. You got Calvin Phillips, he's better than Calvin Phillips. So is he coming to City to sit on the bench and try and fight with Rodri? No, I don't know what that signing was about. But then you don't know what Pep's got lined up with the midfield. We just signed Kovacic. This Veiga guy looks okay. Will he go straight in the team? I don't know. I just don't know where we're at with it. Like you say, we listen to the chairman say that we ain't going to stop and we're going to keep moving and keep progressing. We've let Gundogan go. We know that we like to freshen it up. So City will do what they need to do. There's no one in Manchester City's fan base other than a 12-year-old or 11-year-old panicking. That's it. You know, we don't panic over it. We just relax. We'll get it done when it gets done. We've got a great squad. We've just won everything there is to win. Why should we panic? You know what I mean? It's just about relaxing, freshening it up. We know in a few years' time, Riyad Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, people like that are getting to the end of the career, going to start slowing down and dropping off, and that's when Man City replace them. So we'll be thinking. I just did an interview yesterday with Gael Clichy, 1 hour 45 minutes. One of the best interviews you'll ever see, and he told me that Manchester City are 5 transfer windows ahead of every other team on this planet. He said their chairman thinks 5 windows ahead. They've got players that they know that they have to get players in 2 seasons before that player starts to decline. And he said it is so far advanced at what they do and how they scout it. It's unbelievable. And he went into the insight of it, and it was quite good. So I believe that City's got their list of targets and they'll get in who they need to get in.
Look, you guys certainly are not going to panic, and I'm not surprised to hear that you're so far ahead. The planning is there, and that's why if you do miss out on a target, you always have somebody else lined up, whether that's somebody of the age of Rice, whether it's a different type of profile. As you say, you missed out on Jorginho, you missed out on Kane, you missed out on Alexis Sanchez, Maguire, and you've continued to move on forward. So, look, I understand a bit of banter that goes towards City, but the fact you're then linked to Veiga, who is tipped to be an absolute star, and under Pep Guardiola, invariably, he gets it right. Maybe, you know, in the first transfer window, the goalkeeper, some of the fullbacks didn't quite work out how he wanted. You could argue Calvin Phillips hasn't, but the vast majority of Pep signings have delivered for you. And even people like your Ferran Torreses and did he sign? Was it Negredo he signed when he first joined the club?
No, Negredo didn't come. He signed Ferran Torres, and then we doubled our money more or less on him.
Yeah, that's the one. Torres,
he signed Nolito.
Yeah, Nolito, that's the one I'm thinking of. And there's a few signs that haven't quite worked, but they haven't been, probably barring Calvin Phillips. I'm trying to think of somebody who is an outright, and probably Bravo, flops that did nothing, barely had good games and had to move on. So, yeah, I would say this. As much as I think for the Premier League, it's good that Declan Rice is going to Arsenal because I want more of our teams to be stronger. I want there to be more competition for our league. City are not going to regress because of this. And you know, you look at who they're linked with. I wouldn't be surprised if they got involved in the Caicedo conversation. For me, City have, as you say, they have a plan. They're not just going to sit there now and go, damn, we missed out on Rice. What do we do now? And go in a weird direction. As you say, the planning is so good at City. I expect them to see that. And in terms of breaking news in the last few minutes, TalkSport have just announced that Manchester United have now spoken directly to Caicedo about a potential move for him. Is Caicedo a player that you would like City to look at? Is he someone that you think could come into City and help keep this winning streak going?
I don't think we need him. I think he's think Chelsea or United is better off there. Like I say, with Rodri's massive. I'll be honest with you now. I'm in favour of giving Calvin Phillips another 12 months. I know this season he's been nowhere near it, but I'm in favour of Rodri as our main man, Calvin Phillips coming in as backup. We've got Kovacic now in there as well, so that makes us stronger. Just add one midfielder, a bit of creativity, I think, in there, because sometimes the burden's on De Bruyne a lot of the time to make the magic work. Or we go in another direction and we buy a winger and we play Bernardo in the middle as well. That if he stays. So I think there's still a lot of conundrums that are not finished at Man City. We don't know about Bernardo. We don't know if Mahrez is going to go to Saudi. Emerick Laporte, he's hanging around there. He's definitely going to go. Cancelo's definitely going to go. There's a hell of a lot of money at Man City now. With the treble money coming in, you sell Bernardo, you sell Mahrez, you sell Laporte, you sell Cancelo. There's 200-300 million there. So I think City are relaxed. I think what we need to do is just wait and see how it pans out. I think what you'll see is a couple of big deals will go off and it'll trigger a load of small deals around the Premier League when people start moving. And I think if City keep the powder dry, that's when they can strike and maybe surprise a few people.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, the situation with the situation surrounding Caicedo is interesting. I mean, someone I want. I mean, I wanted Declan Rice. I think the kid's mustard, and it would have improved our midfield. Caicedo is another one who I just think 10 years of quality you could get out of him. I understand though why you wouldn't necessarily with the players you've already got. You mentioned Calvin Phillips. Do you think he'll come good next year if he stays? Do you think you'll get? We all know he's a very good player, but injuries, one thing or another, he just didn't get the game time this year. Do you think it could be another one of those players under Pep who year two just goes to another level?
I think all City fans always, give the players the first year, and we've done that. We've seen David Silva struggle first year. We've seen Leroy, Cancelo, Rodri. The list goes on. Grealish, you can even say. And I just think that with Phillips, he came in to do a really hard job. The Rodri job in the centre of that midfield on your own, picking that ball up from Maddison deep and turning and driving from midfield. It's not everyone can do it. We've seen Calvin come on near the end, and he's a bit more. I don't know. Rodri will zip that ball away fast without even looking, and Man City's on the break. Calvin has to take 2 or 3 touches, turn on it. And I've read an interview with him recently, and he said he didn't feel that he couldn't believe the level of the players when he got there in the first training. So that says to me he wasn't confident in his own ability.
Yeah.
And I spoke to him at the players' party the other week, and I said to him, you need to believe in yourself a bit more. I said, you was playing a tournament in the Euros, you've just won a treble. Rodri's the man you've got to replace, and he said, no, I am. He said he's having a short break. He's going to come back early. He's going to get fit. And the way he was talking was like he's got a point to prove, which that's why part of me wants him to have a bit of a chance. You know what I mean?
This year from Blue Moon, M14, obviously a City fan, says, happy birthday, big man. Do you think we should be prioritizing a winger? As I think we will give us another dimension. United, shake my head, shopping in the reduced aisle. Thanks for that last bit. But yeah, do you think City should be focusing on a winger?
See, it's mad because what's happened is we're going through a change in the tactics. We've gone from 2 traditional fullbacks getting up the pitch to 2 centre-backs. When you play with the fullbacks with City, you get high up the pitch. A fullback can get caught out, lose possession. We get caught on the counter-attack. That's what was happening. He's now playing 4 centre-backs at the back. And the wingers, he's gone for wingers that are a little more slow in transition and build up. He'd rather have Jack Grealish and rather have Riyad Mahrez get the ball and keep the ball than have a Leroy Sané and a Raheem Sterling that get in around the back and go around the back. That, City fans are crying out for fast wingers, and he hasn't gone down that road. But I think Riyad is coming to the point where he didn't have a lot of game time last year, even though he played well. I think we could freshen it up on one of the wings. I can see somebody coming in, even with a bit of pace, just to change it a little bit. But like I say, you just don't know with Pep. Last year, he pulls a Kanji out the hat from nowhere. Great signing, 14 million quid. He's got Kovacic. People say, why is he signing Kovacic? But he must have a plan for him, Terra. He must have a plan for him.
Yeah, he absolutely must. There must be a plus, must be one in there. Thank you for that super chat, Blue Moon. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. Who would you like? Is there a player out there right now? Maybe you are linked to him, maybe you're not. That you personally would love City to go out and bring in to really improve things.
I think Gvardiol's a big one for us, because I think if we get him, he can play left back and he can play centre back, and he's that kind of mould. So he's not a full back, but he's a centre back, but he can play in two positions. That frees Nathan Ake up, who can also play left back and centre back. John Stones looks like he's going to be right back stroke DM, or he's going to be free rolling the midfield. So I think that strengthens the whole back line for us. And when you look at City's squad, you look at the defence now, a lot of them players can play in multiple positions. So it's not a case of we've got a massive squad and loads of players in every position. We've just got versatile players. But I do believe that I'd like the Georgian kid from Napoli, if I'm being honest. You know, his name fucking is mad. I can't even pronounce Aubameyang. So that's what I used to call him. And then Kaviashvili, whatever he's called, from Georgia. He'd be the one from Napoli that I would go and buy. I think he's great.
Yeah, I think Gvardiol will be such a massive signing. I'm intrigued to know whether you're going to go back in for Kimmich. Kimmich's one for me. It was mooted quite quickly by Bayern Munich, but that would be a signing. You add him into your middle, not getting Declan Rice becomes not even a footnote in City's history.
I just think we've got a couple of destroyers in the middle there. Rodri, Kovacic, Phillips. A couple of people can put the foot on the ball and defend, but we just need a spark, because there's a lot of times where if De Bruyne's not on the field in the middle, we break him from midfield. Haaland's directly in front of the midfield making them runs, and none of them players can find him. It's always side to side. And I just feel like if we got somebody with a little bit of nous in the midfield who can thread that ball through, I think it just adds a bit more to our game. So that's why with him, the Georgian kid in a number 10 sort of role, or De Bruyne's coming off after 70 minutes, he's tired, bring this kid on, or start him on the wing or whatever. I don't know, but Man City and Napoli can't get a deal done between each other. They hate each other.
Yeah, look, yeah, it's going to be a real interesting one to see how this kind of pans out for yourselves. And yeah, I think not getting Rice, if I just take all my bias out of it, I think it's good for the window overall, because it keeps you guys fishing. It changes things. It makes other teams under more pressure. I'm not surprised to see Chelsea go straight into conversations for Caicedo as soon as the Rice situation looks like it's resolved itself. Almost damn, because now one of those guys might start focusing over here. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed to see what way that progresses. Remember, people, any questions that you've got for Big Steve, member chats, super chats, we'll always prioritize them for you. Please make sure like buttons have been hit. We are going to get into more detail on the Declan Rice situation a little bit later as well. I wanted to ask you, just away from City for a moment, I wanted to ask your thoughts on, there's an interesting move. Liverpool exploring a move for, I want to try and pronounce his name right, Dominik Szoboszlai, I think it's pronounced, Szoboszlai, the RB Leipzig midfielder. It says that Liverpool have met his camp. They might be going in for him. I don't know how much you know about him. I know you played Leipzig this year. Is he the kind of player that's going to help Liverpool catch you, though? Because that's all they can be aiming for. Or is he just a standard below that, in your opinion?
No, he's a good young player. And like I say, for Leipzig, I've seen him. I don't think he played against us in one of the games, but I've seen him play before. He's obviously up and coming. Liverpool are in an important part. You know, Liverpool are a good side. I think Liverpool will be up there this season, challenging for the league, in my opinion. I think what Liverpool need is a few young and hungry players to get the spark back in the squad. They've let a few players go, Naby Keita and Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain and people like that. I think they need to replace it with some good, young, hungry squad players. They've got a good side. You know, Darwin Núñez, he gets in a lot of good goal scoring positions, but just couldn't finish last year. Mo Salah, we know about him. You know what I mean? The defence, Virgil van Dijk, the goalkeeper. So Liverpool ain't a bad side. And I think Jurgen Klopp will. It would have hurt him last season the way he finished and the way he didn't get in the Champions League. I think he's going to be hurting from that. And I think this is his time. He needs a big window, and he needs to freshen that squad up and go again. You know what I mean? I think he left it a bit late. I think he clinged on to a few of the older players where they should have got rid of him earlier. But yeah, it'd be a good signing for Liverpool, I think.
Yeah, I think he will be. I don't know too much about him. Again, I've seen him playing a few games. I've read a lot about him. It's potential rather than ready-made. And I do think with Liverpool, when you look at the McAllister's in, they've looked at Thuram, they're looking at this man now. The one thing I wouldn't say concerns me as a Man United fan, but would concern me if I was a Liverpool supporter is who is that player that's going to increase our levels next year? That person that is established, like Arsenal getting Declan Rice as an example there. Someone that's been there, done it, worn the T-shirt and is ready. There's a lot of inexperience coming in or people that have never played in this league before in terms of who they're linked to. And again, for Liverpool, it doesn't matter if they make the top 4 next year. It doesn't matter if they win a League Cup next year. For the standards Klopp has set, if they're not winning the Prem and not winning the Champions League, it's a disappointing season. So they've really got to move their levels. And so far with Liverpool, they just haven't done what the fans have been demanding. It was almost a case of, right, we're not getting Bellingham for 100 and something million. There's got to be 3 top quality midfielders coming in, and they haven't moved quick enough quite yet. Now, it is early, and I said earlier, patience is needed. You don't panic, shouldn't be setting in. But I'm just looking at some of the profiles they're linked to, and you think, is there too much inexperience in that as opposed to a handful of ready-made players? Are they going to have the mixture quite right? And I think that's going to be the question for them. But we'll see. Look, there might be people out there in the comments that know far more about this man than me. Here says Terry, we're getting Mount for 55 million. You should be happy. I don't know where you've got. Is that new news that's just come out now? I wouldn't be surprised if we have. But there we go. Yeah, we'll get him for around that amount, and it's not over the value. So I'll be happy that we haven't overpaid for him. But yeah, Liverpool are going to be an interesting one next year. How do you gut feeling? How do you think they'll do?
I think they'll be up there. I think they'll be above Arsenal. Just got this feeling. And I know really? That's the Liverpool team. Yeah, 100%. The Liverpool will be better than Arsenal next season. You can clip that.
I get that. What do you think is going to? Why do you believe that?
I just think they had a fall off last season. They had a fall off, and it dented them. The season before, when they went with City toe to toe, and they didn't quite get there. It was a big kick in the teeth. I think it flattened the football club. They didn't bring anyone in to get the spark going again, and they were flat. But Liverpool, at home, at Anfield especially, and if they kick into gear, they're the only team, like Man City, that can go on these mad runs near the end. And if you look at them last season, they were stop, start. But I just believe, that's my opinion, you know what I mean? Arsenal fans in the chat get rattled to death. And, Steve's salty and all this. Listen, Steve don't give a shit about Arsenal because we just dealt with Arsenal. So, I'm just telling you my opinion. Liverpool will finish above Arsenal. With Declan Rice or without.
I think it's a big. I think they're capable. Their window is going to be very, very key to that, in my opinion. If they do bring in Szoboszlai, they bring in Thuram, and they click and they look good, they start the season well. Of course they can, because they've got some great players still in their team. Trent going into midfield is going to be massive next season. How does it work, if that makes sense, in terms of who's going to cover him in the right back role? Who's going to play in that position? Will they deliver? Will Van Dijk get back to his levels? Because they'll need that.
I can see him trying that. I can see him trying that Trent thing and it not working. And then going back to what Liverpool go back to. They'll go back to what they already know. I think Darwin Núñez will have a better season than he did last season. I think he had a okay season. But I think if he can hit the ground running and they can get the chances into him, he scores a lot of goals in. We take the piss. And we do, because he misses a lot. But you've got to be in them positions to fucking get on the end of them. And sooner rather than later, they're all going to be coming off, let me tell you. And he's going to end up on fire because he's got everything for a decent striker. He has. It's just that little bit of confidence in front of goal that was lacking. He was snatching at shots when he didn't have to snatch at shots. But I think he's had a season now. He's a lot more better prepared. Mo Salah's consistent. He does what Mo does all the time. They've lost Firmino, so they're going to bring somebody in there. I just think Liverpool are going to come back this season. That's just my opinion. I've watched a lot of football with Liverpool, and I just think they're going to come back. But we'll see, won't we?
We certainly will. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being hit. Make sure you're subscribing and you've got that bell notification button turned on as well. Of course, the big breaking news today, and we've touched on it a few times already, is that Arsenal and Declan Rice are now at a total agreement. The deal should complete in the next 24 to 48 hours. Jacob Steinberg has said that Rice always wanted Arsenal all along and he's going to get his move. Of course, there's suggestions that City walked away from some journalists. Others believe that they pulled away because the player had, in the end, picked Arsenal. I don't suppose Arsenal fans really care in the cold, hard light of day, the same as yourself. But he is going to become an Arsenal player. £105 million in total they're going to pay, including very achievable add-ons. How big a move is this, in your opinion, for Arsenal?
Yeah, they needed him. Like I say, they needed him. They wanted him. They've been talking about him. I think everybody realised that he probably wanted that move, staying in London, and they've got him. So fair play. They need it. They need something, because they were telling us all last year how much of a great side they was, and now they were going to do this, and now we're top of the league at Christmas, and now we've won all these games, and now we're going to do this, and and at the end of the day, we see what happened. Yeah, all that talk and all that nonsense that they were coming out with, and they were going to do this, and you're 8 points behind, and you can't catch us, and all that shit that came out of their mouth, and then they fell flat on their ass, and the only team that fucked it up was them, nobody else. They let Man City in. They dropped 12, 15 points in the last 10 games. Nobody else. You know what I mean? But Declan Rice takes him up another level. Are they good enough to catch Man City? No. Does Declan Rice take him anywhere near us? No. Is Kai Havertz going to win you the league? No. So, just get gassed up, man. Get gassed up. I don't care. I was the one that stuck my bollocks on the line and told you the big blue shark was coming, and you all sat there and rattled away and said, Big Steve talks shit. Big Steve talks nonsense. Big Steve's a dickhead. Big Steve doesn't know what he's talking about. But Big Steve watched his team win a treble while you all fucked off home 15 minutes early against Brighton because your asses fell out. So let's listen to Big Steve a bit more, yeah, and relax instead of calling people names on Instagram, because, really deep down, it was the worst bottling since Kevin Keegan said, I'd love it if we fucking beat them.
Are you a little bit upset, Steve? Are you a little bit?
What, Rice?
I just Arsenal fans in general.
No, do you know what I don't get? It's like, I give Arsenal credit, and more than anyone on the Big Six. I told them to keep Arteta, yeah? They were all over it. Oh, yeah, Big Steve, yeah, and all that. The second they go toe-to-toe with Man City, they want to get up and personal with me and start giving me shit. We're top of the league, and you won't do this, and you won't do that. But then the second it flips and backfires and I give it them back, they don't like it. So apparently I'm allowed to win the league, the FA Cup and the Champions League, but I'm not allowed to say anything about it because I'm arrogant. I'm not allowed to talk about it because I'm salty. But if you mention them bottling the league, which they did, that's a fact, they did. They bottled the league, not us, yeah? If you mention that, oh, fucking hell, all hell breaks loose, you know what I mean? So they're a very fragile bunch of fans, you know what I mean? They need to relax. We got Declan Rice FC. That's what they're called now. We got Declan Rice FC. So how about we won the Premier League FC? Let's see that. If we see that, then you'll get my full credit. But until you do that, nobody gives a shit about Arsenal. You know what I mean? No one gives a shit. I don't give a shit.
Love it, Steve. I love a Steve rant. I love a Steve rant. They're so direct, concise, and to the point. This here from Anthony says, Steve burnt his Rice City shirt this morning, is what Anthony says. Lol, this City geezer is so salty. 115 breaches and crying like a baby. Small club mentality from a cheating club with small-minded fans. Bit harsh.
You know what I mean? They're even paying, yeah, Superchats to say this shit, man. To me, I just want to just watch my team win the treble. Do I look, Terry, do I look salty? Do I look upset? I'm worried. Do I look worried about what I've just seen my team win the treble? We're champions of Europe, and I've got Arsenal fans that were top of the league for 248 days saying I'm salty. I'm not paying to send a chat in to tell me I'm salty. So there's only one fan base that's rattled here. There's only one set of fans that are upset here. And it ain't Man City fans, and it ain't me.
Do you feel this here says that Steve can give it, but he can't take it? Rice chose Arsenal over the treble winners. Arsenal still bigger than City.
Listen, people like that, you can't argue with people like that. It's in the brain, you know what I mean? It's like, people like that need help. So, I'm not getting involved in that. That's just hilarious stuff. That's the mentality. That's the mentality, yeah, that makes them different. That's the mentality that makes them different. They group together as a fan base. They set up the Ashburton Army. They thought they were CSKA Moscow, all hiding under a bridge with flares. They marched to the ground telling everyone Arsenal were back, yeah? But when Arsenal really, truly needed them, when they were on their arse against Southampton, 3-3, when they were getting beat off Brighton and they needed the fans to get them over the line, they all fucked off home early for a kebab and went to bed. So let's not pretend that these Arsenal fans are like, they're right 100% behind the team, because as soon as Arteta loses a couple of games in the first 10, it'll be Arteta out, get Edu out, and let's go and get a new manager. So we know what they're about, innit?
Gunnar Dan here says, can't do a Steve drinking game. He's just too calm, is what Gunnar Dan says. This here from Jason says, Arsenal spending where needed. Squad will be much stronger next year. Windows looking more exciting than ever. P.S. How many subs you need to stop getting Lee on your show? Respect to Big Steve. Look, we will always have a diverse range of opinions on the show. I don't agree with a lot of what Lee says, but if we had everybody that comes on and says the same things, the shows would be quite boring. In terms of the first bit here from Jason, how much more of a threat to your Premier League title do you think Arsenal will be next year with Rice, Timber looking like it's going to get done, and Caicedo on the way?
No, they're not going to get anywhere near us, sir. They're not going to get anywhere near us. No.
Why?
Because what did they think City's just going to stand still? Do they think City's just going to stand still, let everyone sign players around us, and then we get caught up? I don't think that happens. We just won the treble. We've got Erling Haaland up front. We've got a great defence, great goalkeeper. We're going to add to it. But the one thing we've got that they haven't, we've got winning mentality. We know how to get shit done when the chips are down. Our arses does not fall out at the first sign of adversity like them. If we go 2-0 down at home to Brighton, we get the game fucking back and we win it. They all fuck off home, yeah, and sit on the pitch and cry. Or Zinchenko does one of them fake speeches and tries to get the crowd going again. And then, how many times did Zinchenko get the team in a huddle last season, and what good did it do him? Tell me what Arsenal won last season. Fuck all, yeah? Nothing. They went out of every single cup. We're concentrating on the league this year. You see now we're concentrating on the league. All you concentrated on was fuck all because you won. Fuck all. Simple as that. So let's get the mentality up, boys. Let's get the fans staying till the end, yeah, getting behind the team for a full season, and we'll see where you are next year. Because next year, when I decide to bring the shark out again, your fucking asses will go, you'll flap it, and you'll be all, and we'll be on you again. You know what I mean? So don't worry about Arsenal. Don't worry about them. Worry about Liverpool.
Yeah, I think I said it when I was speaking. I said Caicedo instead of Rice. It was a slip of the tongue, people. I wouldn't focus too much on it. This here says, Steve can't believe Rice chose Arsenal over City. Clearly, Rice knows a big club when he sees one.
No, it's got fair play to him, yeah. If he wants to go to Arsenal, let him go Arsenal. I can't believe Erling Braut Haaland chose Manchester City over Real Madrid, but shit happens.
This year says, to be fair, we had to hear everyone say why he would choose Arsenal over. Why would he choose Arsenal over City? Yeah, I would say, in fairness to Steve, though, Steve wasn't one of those City fans who was like, there's no way he's picking Arsenal over us. And we spoke about Rice.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I said it last week that if Arsenal need him more than us, they've got to go and get the deal done, put the money on the table, get him signed. I said that. But this is what I'm saying. People they only hear what they want to hear. They only listen to what they want to listen to. And they make shit up. I've seen in the comments in here after your shows, I've seen people make shit up like that never got said on the show and write it down. It's just hilarious stuff, man. But it is what it is. People like to do that shit, man. I don't give a shit.
This says here, I know Big Steve, and he's not salty. If anything, I'm mad at Arsenal for taking so long. Is what Deborah Debbie has got to say here. Thank you very much for that super chat, Debs. I appreciate that. Don't we hear Rice won't be? Sorry, didn't we hear Rice won't get into the City team? Is what Presto the First says here. A lot of City fans did say that, to be fair, and a lot of City fans are still standing by that statement. I personally thought he would. I think Declan Rice is that good myself. Dude ranting, but says that we are the ones rattled.
Well, another one who's paid, yeah? You've just paid to tell me I'm rattled. So come on, man. Think about what you're doing, innit? You know what I mean? There's one fan base here, yeah. Man City fans, they're in the chat. They're talking about trebles. They're talking about Premier League titles. You lot are talking about getting Declan Rice above Man City. So if you class getting Declan Rice ahead of Man City, you must really highly value Man City and class that as some sort of trophy. Do you know what I mean? The only trophy you won last year was this, yeah? The bottle trophy, because you bottled the league. So... You know what I mean? I'm off to go home after this. I'm going to watch the European Cup final again. Rodri scores in the 67th minute. Big Steve jumping around in his underpants. It's my birthday. My life's good, man. Just keep sending the super chats in, though, because I want to get a pizza in a bit.
Before the oil city were nothing. Remember that is what LG says to you here.
Exactly. Yeah. We were fuck all, man. We were fuck all. But I tell you what, thank God for oil, man.
Thank God for it. Fair play to Arsenal for getting Rice, but I don't think Rice is worth 100 million. Good luck to Arsenal, regardless, as a United fan. Do you think he's worth 100 million British pounds?
Listen, he's young, he's British, he's England international. Jack Grealish contract was worth 100 million. So listen, it's worth what the club wants to pay.
Yeah.
If they think he takes us to the next level, I know he's a bit more expensive than what we want to pay. Let's get him. But don't forget, he's a diamond in West Ham's crown. So they're not going to let him go cheap. They want maximum money. They need to strengthen. They just won that Conference League. So it is what it is. I think the values are all going up slowly. We're going to see that. You're talking about, if Harry Maguire's worth 85 million, how many years ago? Come on. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
No, I agree. I think he's worth it based on all that same logic, mate, 100%. Steve, do you think Erling Haaland should win the Ballon d'Or?
Yes. I think he should.
I agree as well. He's top class, that kid. Little City got rejected by Rice for a big club, is what Al's got to say to you here.
Like I say, another one. Little City, the champions of Europe and the treble winners. Amazing, that.
Little City. Imagine trying to banter people for super chatting. I love the super chats. I'm going to say thank you for the donation. Thanks for the fun. I also say like Steve's just having a bit of fun with you as well. Do you know what I mean? The chat is moving mad. I can't lie. No, it is moving mad today. It's
great. It's great stuff.
It's great. I love it. Now they've got Rice. Liverpool need to win the Premier League. No excuses. That is the big question now, though. There is nowhere for Arsenal to hide, and it's trophies or bust now for Arteta. Surely, Steve.
Yeah. Well, listen. You know, they couldn't get over the line in the Premier League. You know, so they've got to get over the line this year. There's no excuses now. You know, they've learned a lesson. Man City had an off season last year. You still let us in. You just got to pray that everybody else has another bad season, but that ain't going to happen. Trust me, that ain't going to happen. And Liverpool's going to be better. Chelsea, United, City, Newcastle. So the title year was last year, but you fucked it up. So mid-season, you're going to get upset again. Probably want Arteta out and then start ranting about Edu. All start singing and dancing outside the stadium again on AFTV and doing them little mad dances and shit. The guy with the voodoo doll will be out, and yeah, it'd be fucked up again, man. Come Christmas, don't worry about
it. This is now I paid because I support Terry. Well, thank you. Keep it coming, brother. As long as you can afford it, don't spend what you can't afford. But thank you. David says, "Here's a nice one. Happy birthday, Steve. Enjoy."
Thank you very much.
This here says Steve approaching booby levels of wind up.
Nah, I take that. No, I'm not at that level yet. That is a proper wind up. But no, I'm just Listen, I'm fighting fire with fire. People think they can come on, abuse me, talk shit about City, talk nonsense, and then the second they give it back, they all get upset and start throwing the toys out the pram. That's not how it works, is it? You know, if we want to all start rattling people, let's just go for it. You know, is what it is. But I tell the truth, though. That's the thing. I tell the truth. I don't say anything for banter. I truly feel what I'm saying. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry. It's tough.
You've got to be able to take it if you give it. Has always been my mantra there. Thank you very much for those super chats. This one here says, "Hey bro, been missing for a while. Hope you're well." I cut mine. He says, "Been missing for a while. Horrible to see Ten Hag struggling again to get the budget after qualifying for the Champions League. I hope he walks and causes a riot." Well, I hope he doesn't, because we are very likely to get new owners at some point. So don't cut your nose off to spite your face. Don't be too premature. But of course, it's disappointing to see financial stuff being discussed again. It's why we need them gone. It's why we need better owners. We need more investment. We need the debt cleared. I've just been calling for this for 17, going on 18 years consistently now. And yeah, you're right. It's not good as a United fan to see, but I'm sure rivals love it. No, someone here, this here from Raul says, "No one giving Newcastle a shout." I mean,
they're signing a few players. Tonali is coming in, good player. Livramento from Southampton's a good squad addition. I think Newcastle, what they're doing is they're ticking along nice under the radar. They're just slowly but surely tinkering along. And I don't think this season they'll be up there challenging for the title, but I think they'll be there around the top four again.
Yeah, I agree. They'll be in the top four race next season, Newcastle, especially with what they're looking to spend. Arsenal fan, love the Steve shows. Great insight. It's from Neil. Thank you very much, bro. We appreciate it. I'm sure Steve does as well. Big up, boys. Asna got the most jealous fan base. We, Chelsea, experienced it now. Steve and City fans are seeing just how stupid they are. Big up is what Sean Newland says. City only have one direction left to go. That's down, he suggested. You're going to go down this season, Steve?
To be honest, when you get to the top of the mountain, you know, it's hard to stay there. Everyone else is throwing stones, trying to knock you off. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll do all right. Will we win a treble again? Probably not. But as long as we win silverware, as long as we're challenging for the league, then just got to keep that mentality going and keep that consistency going, and that's the key.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there is only one way for you to go. It's down or maintain where you are. You can't go any higher in terms of the league. But City are going nowhere in the short term, as far as I'm concerned. Salty Steve talking more about Arsenal then. What's your club name again, Steve?
Yeah, so I'm on a show. I'm on a show, and you're asking me questions about Arsenal, but apparently I'm not allowed to talk about Arsenal. This is what I'm saying. I'm not allowed to talk about them. It happens, you know. It's crazy, mate. I don't know. I don't know. They get upset if I talk about Arsenal. You know, I'm entitled to my opinion, but they can throw anything they want at me. Say anything about Man City. You cheated, 115 charges, small club, plastic team, this, that, that. They can say anything they want about Man City, yeah? The champions of Europe, the treble winners. But soon as you say anything back about precious Arsenal, soon as you remind them that they fucked the league up, yeah, and they bottled it, oh, hell breaks loose. The new gremlins, innit? The Chelsea fans used to be the gremlins. They used to, like, when they get beat, they're all soft and cuddly, and then they want you to stroke them and that. And then when they win, they're swinging off the fucking lampshades and giving it the gremlin vibes. But they're the new gremlins, man. Don't mention Arsenal. Let's be quiet. It's a sensitive subject, Terry. Stop talking about Arsenal. Anyone think, you can't do that,
mate. This here says, happy birthday to the most reasonable City fan out there. I hate to say it, but good on you for winning. Next year is hopefully a different story. Great start is what Eduardo has got to say here to Steve. 2023, 2024, top four: City, Newcastle, Arsenal, Man United. City, you're putting Newcastle second. That is a massive. I can't see him coming second. I can see him being in the top four, but I can't see Newcastle second as of right now. I mean, it might change, but I can't see that personally. If Arteta does not win, sacked in the morning in the stadium, Terry, who do you think to replace Arteta? Look, he has to win trophies next year. They have to progress. They have to keep moving forward. It's trophy or bust. There could be some context that saves him, but as a general rule, trophy or bust. Who would replace him? Depends who's available. It really does depend who is available at that moment in time. There's always quality managers out there, and depending on who that manager is and what club he's at, you take him away. Unless he's at a bigger club than Arsenal, he should be gettable. He should be absolutely gettable. So I haven't really thought about it personally, but I'm sure Lee Gunner would say Carlo Ancelotti or Diego Simeone, but I'm sure there'll be a few people who emerge over the course of this year that could do a better job if he indeed fails. This here says a Gunner from Tampa Bay in Florida. Love your shows. Always watch it. I don't care about who does what business. I only care about my team. We recruit right. We win it next season. Hashtag Arteta in.
See, I like that. I like that confidence from him. He's fair. He just say, look, let's concentrate on your own team. And I like that. Listen, I've got no qualms with anyone telling me their team's going to win the league, because as a football supporter, that's what you want to be. If you've got the confidence in your team, then great, do it. I'm all for it. Let's have it.
I totally agree. City seem to have a lot of haters, but this is natural when you're a winner. Everyone wants you to be. Everyone wants to beat you at any cost.
Yep.
Yeah, I think most people. Again, I think most people would completely and utterly agree with that statement there, my friend. Going back to transfers, I really don't get why no teams are in for. I don't know who this player is. And I'm just going to search the name because it could be one of those words that you read out and no, it's not. It's a real player. I'm dumb. So this, where is this guy at? I don't. Oh, is it Villarreal? Not Villarreal. Where is he American here? I'll just check. I don't know much about this guy at all. He's at Valencia. I don't know much about him. Midfielder. Yeah, I don't know much about him, bro. I've never even heard of him. And I'm not going to lie. I don't pretend to know everything about all football clubs. Yeah. He's at Valencia. I don't know much about him. So is he American? That's probably why. Because he's American. So that's probably why no one's in for him. There's not very many Americans that do well in European football. So probably why. With all due respect to you as an American, I assume you're American because you're paying in US dollars. But yeah, I don't know too much about him, brother. 20 years of age. How long has he been at Valencia now? He's been there 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I don't know much about him. I don't know about you, but I don't know much about him. But yeah, there we go. He was at Arsenal's academy. Oh, I know who he is now. Now I've just clicked who he is. Because I remember at the World Cup when he was chilling with Saka and somebody else, and Arsenal fans were talking about their academy, whatever it's called. Yeah, I remember now. I remember. Thank you. But thanks for the super chat, Neil. I appreciate that. In what world do people think Arteta will demote Odegaard from captaincy to give it to Rice? Not happening while not ever happening while Martin is still at the club. I said this before. I say it again. I stand by this statement, my friend. If you've got a brilliant penalty taker and you sign a better one, the better penalty taker takes the penalties. If you sign a better free kick taker, same logic. You sign a better goalie, same logic. If you sign someone, and I believe Rice will be a better captain than Odegaard, it will happen. But it will happen in a subtle, clean, professional way that everybody's happy with. I believe it will. That's just my personal opinion, though. Steve, how many empty seats left at the Etihad?
I don't know, mate. Count them. Somebody paid for that as
well. This here says City seem. Oh, sorry, already done this one here about City having a lot of haters. Terry, did you see Steve's show with the PSG fan? No.
Yeah, to be fair, it's a good show. We had a chat with Stuart, Parisian Londoner. Do you know him?
I know who he is. Yeah, I just haven't seen the show.
Yeah, he was basically what we're talking about, the ownership models of Man City being Abu Dhabi and Qatar.
Right. Yeah.
And they want the Qatari owners out of PSG. They don't want that model, Neymar, Messi, and all that. And it was good to see, like, some fans would love Messi and Neymar and Mbappe at your club, but he's saying they've sacrificed the soul of the club. They don't interact with the fans. The ultras are split into people going to the players' houses. the academy is not what it used to be, and a lot of young people in Paris are supporting Paris FC now because they got a more connection to that club than Paris Saint-Germain. So it was good to hear from him. He was quite passionate about it and that. So it's worth a watch.
Yeah, it's one of those things for me where you have to, like, I'm all up for the Qataris buying Man United, but I don't want to lose. You know, one thing that would break my heart, that I don't care how many trophies we're winning, if we break our record of having an academy player in every matchday squad for the last 8 years, if we didn't do that one week, it honestly break my heart, because I love those types of traditions that Manchester United have, and I want us to expand upon them. I want us to develop our youth academy. It's what the club's built on. You know, we made English football famous. We changed football forever. Without the Busby Babes, that are our academy, there is the potential that the European Cup doesn't even exist in its current format, at least of all for the English clubs. We were the pioneers in that, in terms of pushing it and playing in it, where lots of nations wouldn't even let their clubs go to it. The FA would try. And I think you've got to respect the traditions of football clubs always.
He thinks that when Qatar get Man United, that Paris Saint-Germain will be second fiddle to Man United, and he thinks that talent in Paris and that'll be getting harvested out to Man United. That's what it's an interesting watch. Anyone that wants to realise that everybody thinks when you get took over by Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and that everything's all going to be rosy in that. But one of Jassim's family took over Malaga and they got relegated twice.
Well, this is the thing. This is why when people say Sir Jim will kill us and the Sheikh will make us better, I think the Sheikh will do a good job. My personal opinion. But I also don't think it's as black and white as, but Sir Jim will be as bad as the Glazers. You just don't quite know, right? There's good and bad examples. But I think the London Parisian's right, because
I went to Paris with them, and they are the most fucking passionate fans you've ever seen over there, right? They're deep in the core of the Paris, right? They're proper. They live and breathe it. They literally live, breathe it, sacrifice their families and everything to go Paris Saint-Germain all the way. Then all of a sudden they signed Messi, and then people started turning up in the ultra section with Messi shirts. People were selling the tickets. They've opened a shop on New York on Fifth Avenue. They're doing brand deals with Jordan and things like that. So the PSG as a brand is strong. It's a fantastic brand. But what they're saying is, as a football team, they're not strong. They win domestic play, they always have. But in the Champions League, they never won it. So the fans, they don't care about how many Jordan tracksuits they sell. They don't care how many kits they've got. They want to win the Champions League. So when you're bringing in Messi, Mbappe and Neymar, and you don't win the Champions League, then that's when there's a problem. And they've been to the training ground, they've stormed it. They're trying to move stadiums. The fans are not being consulted. It's mad.
I couldn't agree with more. And then when you add an insult to injury by going away from traditions, and yes, they've only formed in the 70s, I believe, but it doesn't mean you don't have history. It doesn't mean you don't have traditions as a football club. And what he said about the Qatari owners, let's not get this twisted. On paper and officially, Man United will not be owned by Qatar, the country, the same as Newcastle will not owned by Saudi Arabia. But we know in reality, when all is said and done, there are certain people in certain places that will be calling the shots. And in my view, Qatar as a country are pushing for this Man United deal because it is a great organization, a great football club for their country to be associated with, to help push, even just tourism alone and pushing that towards their country. Man United is a much bigger deal than PSG. So I completely and utterly agree. If he doesn't join Real Madrid this summer, if he was staying a little bit longer, I tweeted this a few weeks ago, if we got the Qatari owners, Man United would get Kylian Mbappe. Not because we're bigger than Madrid or bigger than this team or that team. They would work out a deal to make that financially viable, and they would take him away from PSG and give him to Man United. I agree with that 110%. We've got some more super chats here. First one says, off topic, Chelsea have signed a lot of young players from Brazil, Portugal, France, etc. Do you think there is a plan for these players to fit into the first team, or is that why we bought a club in France? Both. The club in France will be used to loan people out to develop, to generate money for the overall organization, feed a club. Equally, I think you just signed a young lad today. We're going to talk about later on the show. I think his name is Angelo. I don't know anything about him, but there's clearly a plan at Chelsea. They've got rid of nearly all their dead wood as well now, Steve. Like nearly all the dead wood is gone. Like they've done a brilliant job so far, Chelsea, haven't they?
Thank God for Saudi Arabia, man.
Mate,
Thank God for Saudi, man. I don't know who he knows over there, but shit's getting done.
they're doing a madness right now, Chelsea, and they're buying lots of youngsters. And I think a lot of their plan. Listen, unless they flop on the pitch again, I think in the next 12 to 18 months, people are going to start seeing why I said a year ago, watch out for them. They're developing something that could be scary. Roman money with a 2023 plan of satellite clubs, developing more youth, growing revenues even further, taking ideas, of course, from what Man City are doing. That's not to be scoffed at. It's not to be scoffed at at all. It's very interesting what they're doing there. I really hate Steve's arrogance, but when you are a treble winner, you earn the right to puff out your chest. Most sensible City fan I've seen. Better than listening to Lee coming from an Arsenal fan, is what I said there. Yeah, Lee is in the mud today because he said that. Do you know what he said? I can't believe he said it. Thank you for that super chat, bro. I can't believe. Like, I love Lee. I love Lee. But when
City fans love him now, you know. Oh, he's Man City's. They've adopted him.
Of course, they love it. Do you know what he said? Right. So when you guys were interested in Rice, it all come up. He said, "That's it. It's over. City will get him as soon as they bid. Players' head turned. We ain't getting him. We won't step up." Now that they have stepped up and won him, you know, he said that the bid didn't even happen. David Ornstein has lied on behalf of Arsenal, and everybody else has just copied Ornstein's story. The bid was fake. The bid didn't really exist. And even I can see the smile on your face. And this is the logic of it. And I'm going to put this out there and it's given him a week to prepare his answer. There's no Manchester-based correspondent who's going to lie about Man City putting a bid in and ruin their relationship with the club just to help out David Ornstein perpetuate a lie for Arsenal. It's impossible. It don't exist. I don't know about you, but that blew my. I saw him put it on his Instagram. That blew my mind. That it's a fake bid. Ornstein made it up, and every other journalist around the world copied it.
You got to respect him, Lee. He's doing his thing, man. He knows what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing. But the City fans love him, man. They're all messaging me the other day. Oh, have you seen Lee Gunner? He's talking well about City and that. And I thought, yeah, well, he's now found another avenue to get the boys on board, and he's doing what he's doing. He does best. He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid.
No, he ain't stupid. But honestly, I read it. I was just about to drive my car. I had to wait 2 minutes. I was laughing too much. I would have crashed 110%. The scary thing about Chelsea is long-term, not short-term. They are building a new model that is an environment. An evolution of what City have done. Could be exceptional. It could be, and this is why I said to everyone: enjoy their downfall last season, but please don't expect it to continue. And everyone said they wouldn't get rid of the dead wood. It's nearly all gone. Do you think this is make or break year for Barca? Not as a club, because they're Barca, they'll be here forever. But maybe Xavi. But at the moment, it looks like they've got more financial issues. They might have to sell more. So until that's sorted, you can't really say. If they have a bad summer transfer-wise, they have to sell De Jong and a few other top stars. You can't really blame the manager for not making them European champions again. Thoughts on, again, this is a person whose name I just don't know.
No, he's real. He's real.
Oscar Bob. You know what it is? Because I'm just, is he an Oscar? Do you know what it is? Because I'm a dyslexic. Sometimes I can't read it quick enough. And I'm like, if I say that out loud, am I going to sound like I'm saying a sexual word? Oscar Bob.
No, he's a Norwegian. He's a Norwegian youngster, plays for City. They reckon he's going to get called up to the Norwegian national team. Oscar Bob. Apparently, he's going to be training with the first team. He's a good player, man. He's a good player.
It's a serious name as well, Oscar Bob. I actually like that name. I've just took a picture of the kid now. Yeah. Now that I've seen a picture of him, I've seen him before. Big Steve, will this be City's biggest turnover of players in a transfer window if Gundo, Mahrez, Silva, Walker, Cancelo, and Laporte all leave?
Kyle Walker won't leave, I don't think. Cancelo, Laporte, definitely. Gundo's gone. Mahrez, maybe. Silver, maybe, but they've got to come up with the money. I just think it's a transitional period. I think once you win everything you've won, there's a lot of players then think that's closure. We've done everything we needed to do at Manchester City. We've won the treble. We can walk away and try pastures new. Especially if you're getting older, it's you've lived in Manchester, pissing down every day. you can go somewhere and float about in your swimming pool and have a really nice Mediterranean lifestyle. I think people are going to, some of the players are going to want that. But City need to keep it fresh. City need to keep the spark going. You've got to bring that hunger back in the squad as well. That's what Pep's good at. To keep this team at the top for so long, Alex Ferguson was great at doing it. Pep's great at doing it. There's not, you always see a drop off after a league title with most teams, but City have done it. But yeah, this season could see quite a few ins and outs, especially at academy level. There's a lot of kids in our academy. We've won the Academy Premier League for 3 years on the trot. We've won the under-16s 3 years on the trot. Under-14s 3 years on the trot. Every level's done a three-peat. These kids they're too good for academy level, but they're not quite good enough for our level. Look at Romeo Lavia. He's good enough for Southampton. He's good enough for Premier League, but not our Premier League. And that's not us being arrogant. That's the truth. And there's still kids there. Carlos Borges, Portuguese winger, scoring 20, 30 goals, player of tournaments. City got to find solutions for them. They don't want academy football. They don't want championship football.
Yeah,
they think they're going for the Premier League.
And this kid now, just looking at that, he's 20 years. He's 19, turning 20 very soon. That's the age where you've got to start playing first-team football. Costa here says, happy birthday, Steve.
Thank you.
Nelson says, happy birthday, Steve, though you wind me up as a Liverpool fan. Is what
just give Liverpool loads of credit before. So he should be happy now.
Arteta to be publicly executed if no trophy. Obviously, we know you don't mean literally. And he will be. Arsenal fans will be on the neck of Arteta and Arsenal this year. If there's any regression in the league, not deep penetration into the latter stage of the Champions League, and no trophy. And they have to, because by the end of this window, you're looking at £700 million spent. And by the end of the season, it'll be 4.5 or so years building this team. Anyone who spends 700 million on their own squad, plus what you inherited, and has 4.5 to 5 years to develop a team and playing style, when you're a giant club like Arsenal, you have to be delivering major trophies, or you go. Or you go. It's as simple as that. I don't think there's any beating around the bush on that one. Listen, Steve, always a pleasure to speak to you, mate. And I know it's your birthday and everything else, so thank you very much. Viewers, thank you for tuning into the show. I'm sure we covered most subjects. Got a show tonight as well, so keep your eyes open, where we're covering Timber, more on Maddison, Onana, and Caicedo deals as well. So keep your eyes out for that tonight. Make sure you don't miss it by hitting the bell notification button now. Go and get them turned on so your phone will update you when we go live. There's actually another super chat that's just come in that says, I agree with Steve, what Steve said earlier about City being ahead transfer-wise, but if Pep does walk away in a couple of years, will the next manager be able to get these players to fit his style?
To be honest, what you're going to see with City is it's not going to be a case of can the manager get the players to fit his style. I think it's going to be that we've got to get a manager to fit our style. I think the club will have an identity now that we just get managers in that continue from where the last one left off. I don't think the days where you bring in 30 members of staff, dietitians, analysts, people and all that, that's all gone. I think the club's going to have that. These are our men. You come in, you're employed to work with these and continue this style of football. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. That is exactly what has to happen. Otherwise,
I'm just wondering, Terry, as well, yeah? You see this pink ring here that goes around me here, yeah? Can we change that to gold? And, can we have some sort of reference to the champion? I want a star in the bottom corner there. And, something about the treble, because I am a treble winner. My team is the champions. So out of respect, I deserve a gold fucking square. And then it might upset a few Arsenal fans. Lee Gunner's got a little bottle in the bottom corner of his square. But, I'm a champion and I demand some sort of respect.
So like a little gold one to kind of,
Yeah, I think anyone that comes on your show whose team is the champions of Europe should get a gold one with a star. And if you've done the treble, you should maybe get a platinum one with maybe 3 silhouettes of the trophy at the bottom, just to keep people, like when they're talking about Big Steve, instead of focusing on my bald head and calling me bald Steve, they can say treble Steve better shut his mouth, or champion Steve needs to shut his mouth, and just a bit of respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could probably look at that. We could look at doing that for next week. Little gold. I'm not going to say gold ring. That's got weird connotations. But yeah, we can look at that, mate. No problem at all. Listen, someone here said, yeah, with an asterisk. I like that. Listen, everyone that has tuned in today, I want to say a big thank you to all of you. Steve, always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your birthday. We're back later today with more content for you all. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.